Currently, the United States only has one state, which is Michigan, that bans or makes it illegal to discriminate on people based on the way they look. So if you do not give an individual a job or a position in your company because of the way they look, you can face charges in Michigan and Michigan only.
Right.
Okay?
So I mean, it's an interesting question as to whether people should take that into account or not. I think that there are some jobs that taking someone's attractiveness into account is perfectly acceptable. If you work at Hooters, I don't want you to be a hot mess. Okay, I mean, there's a reason why people go to Hooters, because they want to see, hot girls in hot clothing. I don't know if that makes me a bad guy, but I wouldn't want to outlaw that. But on the other hand, if you're going to discriminate on people if they're accountants, well, that doesn't make any kind of sense to me, and I would be bothered by that. But the real problem is finding out who qualifies, right? So now you've got some numbers. Give me the numbers, and then we'll get to the issue of qualification.
All right. So hold on. Okay, so between 12 and 14% of workers say that they've suffered from some kind of appearance-based discrimination on the job. Discrimination based purely on cosmetic aversion to fat is totally legal. In one study, 43% of overweight women reported feeling stigmatized by their employees. Obese women earn 12% less than skinny women. That have the exact same qualifications. Right.
43% of the overweight women reported feeling stigmatized by their employers. Okay. Now, here's the thing, right? I believe those numbers, right? And I believe that people are making less, and as study after study has shown, you get hired less if you're considered more unattractive, you get promoted less, and you make less money, right? Now, all of that sucks and is, again, for positions like being an accountant, et cetera, totally unacceptable. And it doesn't apply just to women, it also applies to men, right? Now, having said that, how do you judge? I mean, so people are saying, hey, maybe they should be allowed to sue, or you should make it illegal. But then you got to walk into a court, like in Michigan, where they can. There's only one case a year. That's it, right? Why? Because you got to walk into court and say, I'm fugly. Okay, and it's obvious I'm fugly, and they discriminated on me because, I mean, look at me, I'm a mess, right? And that's a tough thing for somebody to say, and it's a tough thing to prove because, all right, you think you're a mess, but does everybody agree you're a mess? And and how do you prove that it was the fact that you were just nasty that caused people to discriminate against you as opposed to, you weren't doing the job right, et cetera?
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing when it's racial discrimination, well, okay, you're black or you're not black, right? And now there's gradations I get, all right, but relatively speaking, relatively easy. If you're a woman, okay, you're a woman or you're a guy, relatively easy. But if you come in saying, I suffered ugly discrimination, somebody beat me with an ugly stick and they held it against me, well, that's tough, that's harder to prove.
How is it harder to prove, though? Because you're saying that it's harder to judge whether or not someone is ugly enough to be discriminated against?
Yeah. I mean, like, what if I came to court and I said, my past employer, they discriminate against me because I'm too ugly, right? And I'm too fat. Now, they look at me and they go, well, he is pretty fat, right? On the ugliness, yeah, he's got a decent case. But, I mean, what are you going to do? How do you prove that? So that's why I think it's tough. I don't think we should make it necessarily illegal or anything like that and pass laws like Michigan has in that regard. On the other hand, once you pass a law, it doesn't really bother anybody. So you've got to keep that in mind, too, because there's only one case a year. So, but you know what I think should happen? People should be on the lookout for it because it's a natural human reaction, and it's an ugly one, but it's still natural. And you should try not to discriminate against people based on their looks. And, you think, oh, I don't do that. But everybody apparently does. Not everybody, but a lot of people do it. So try to fight against that. Trying to help people out.